The relaunch of Milestone Comics is nearly upon us, and we are amped to see Static Shock take center stage. Things look great for Static Shock fans between the digital comic coming in early 2021 and a feature film set to begin production. Now, he got people's attention in the mid-90s and then again in the early 2000s. Now, he's back in a huge way, and ScreenRant is here to explain everything you need to know about this character and his future. You're going to hear the name Milestone come up again and again in the upcoming months. For the younger fans in the audience, let's back up a bit and explain who they are. Milestone Comics began as a subsidiary of DC back in the early 90s. It was founded by black comic book writers to showcase the life and struggles of superheroes from diverse backgrounds. There's this legendary booklet called the Milestone Bible that detailed the entire universe they were building, which we will now refer to as the Dakotaverse. In the Milestone Bible, there are character designs for every major player in every series and how they interact. It's like a 5-year plan for the entire company's significant storylines. Milestone was absorbed back into DC near the turn of the century, but their characters didn't outright disappear. Icon, Hardware, and Static were given a small home in the DC expanded multiverse, which felt like the end for such an essential outlet for representation in the industry. Now, Milestone is back, and it's giving Static a renaissance. See, Virgil Hawkins was designed as one of the first characters fans would know in this comic series. He was a smart young man who had a huge bully problem. The comics tackled social issues facing black communities in the early 90s through Virgil Hawkins. So he becomes a vigilante after inhaling experimental gas police threw on a gang riot that turned about 10% of the survivors into genetically altered metahumans. Hawkins names himself Static and uses his ability to manipulate electric currents to stop the other less noble metahumans now roaming Dakota City. The gas event led by police later became known as the Big Bang. Static's origins tend to follow this line no matter what publication or outlet he moves into. His popularity at Milestone Comics was tangible. When the company was brought back into DC, Virgil Hawkins couldn't spend that whole time on the sidelines, which is where most of you come into the fold. We all know the name Static Shock from the animated series. The show's name became so popular that his comic series later editions now go by that name. Heck, even the title of our video says Static Shock. The Warner Brothers animated series we all watched from 2000 to 2004 sits fresh in our minds to this day. The show illustrates the desire DC had to showcase some of the Milestone characters with DC characters. Now, some critics of the move argued this tokenized Icon, Hardware, and Static while also minimizing some of the lesser-known characters. Now, this was true in the short run. However, the long run has proven fruitful for Milestone. The ability to stand out and tell stories that mattered when no one was listening helped bring about the change we see in comics today. Now, we're about to get a full graphic novel, a digital comic series, and a movie featuring Static Shock. One could argue that they're choosing to go with him to launch the cinematic universe because he's so popular after the animated series. Wait, did we say cinematic universe?
For real?
Yeah, you heard that right. With Michael B. Jordan's production company Outlier Society attached to the project now, it feels like Static is set up for the long haul. Jordan has stated in interviews that this upcoming movie is built to expand. We're possibly looking at a full cinematic universe with even more Milestone characters coming into the fold. The nice part is the characters will get their own space to grow and take shape. A whole new generation of comic book fans will discover these legendary heroes for the first time. And it's all starting with Static Shock. Okay, so you know who Static Shock is now and the essential details about the movie. Now it's time to dig a little deeper and speculate a bit more. That's part of what we do here at ScreenRant. We can't just give you all that substance and not build some hype to go with it. We're trying to get you amped for this movie, pun intended. Reggie Hudlin, the man with the plan at Milestone Media, believes much more is on the horizon, but they need to take their time with this feature film. We can expect Static Shock between 2022 and 2023. Production schedules are a tricky thing, and pre-production is still waiting to get started. And that means we can let our imagination run loose. We know from interviews that they're planning on keeping Virgil Hawkins around 15 years old. He's a high schooler in the comics, and they want to stay loyal to that idea. So there goes the hope for future Static kicking off things anytime soon. We're thinking the success of younger actors in roles that suit their age will preside here too. There's been talk and hype around Jaden Smith playing Static since the announcement. Oh, look, we're not dissing the choice, but we can do better. Smith is getting older, and playing a superhero just doesn't suit him. And we would love the studio to go with either Caleb McLaughlin from Stranger Things or Niles Fitch from This Is Us. Both actors know the range it takes to play Virgil Hawkins. They've both been squeezed into roles that don't allow them to star. It feels appropriate that Michael B. Jordan and Outlier Society can take a chance on giving one of these slightly younger guys a shot at some serious stardom. Regardless, the decision is only one of many left to go. We know one thing's for sure, Milestone Media is on the up and up. Expect more great products to come quickly down the pipeline after the new comics line hits the digital shelves in February of 2021. If that doesn't give you a jolt of excitement, we're not sure what will. Who do you envision playing Static in the upcoming movie? Tell us your ideas in the comments. Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe to ScreenRant to keep track of all the updates regarding Static Shock and so much more.